Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Couch of the Dead. Today we have a great episode for you. We are reviewing 2001's Hidden Gem Session 9. And if you're wondering where David Caruso went, well, it's Danvers State Mental Hospital.
Hi, I'm Vanessa.
And I'm Matt.
We are two die-hard horror movie fans who want to share our love of spooky cinema with you.
So please, if you dare, join us on the Couch of the Dead. And we're back. And I'm not getting any noise out of my skull mug.
Hello, 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 and welcome back. And we are thankful for you. Thank you for tuning in. If this is your first time, thank you for watching us for the first time, and we hope that you stick around. And if this is not your first time, welcome back. Today is actually Black Friday.
Yeah, Black Friday, which combines my two favorite things, which is standing in line and getting bumped into by people. But we did get some good deals out of there. We were doing some shopping today, and we're down at the outlets and got some cool stuff, So trying to get some of that early Christmas shopping out of the way.
And we were there early.
Yeah, we were
Very
there like
early.
6:00 in the morning, and but we got our stuff done, and I broke down and got a new phone, and I was only like 4 gens behind, and so just got to say, like Vanessa said, welcome back. If you are a listener or a watcher, you can see us on YouTube. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify,
And now you can listen to us on Amazon Music, iHeartRadio podcasts, and a few other places. So if any of those places you listen to podcasts, search for us, search for Couch of the Dead, and you'll find us. Hopefully you're watching this on YouTube, but if not, I hope that you go and check us out on any other format for the podcast. Yeah.
So, in keeping with tradition, any podcast we do where we don't have to go to work the next day, we have a little fun, and I ask, what is the creepy cocktail of the day? What are you drinking?
The creepy cocktail for tonight for me is, again, margarita. It's a tequila and margarita mix with
It's
some
the drink of her
salt.
people.
It is not, but I'm going to mix it up the next time that we do a podcast. If you watched our last episode last week, it was the same. But I got ingredients to make coquito. So if that is the
Which
drink...
is the drink of her people.
Yes, that is the drink of my people. If you know any Puerto Ricans, coquito is what we drink as eggnog that people here in the States drink. So...
And I'm finishing off the drink of my people, which is a super white chocolate peanut butter cream whiskey. So I'm finishing that off, and we're going to, again, try and get through this one without getting too loopy, because this movie requires a lot of attention. It requires a lot of detail. This is a really underrated gem. Low budget. Like I said, it's stars David Caruso, Peter Mullen, Stephen Gévaudan, and Josh Lucas, among others, which you'll recognize some of these guys. Of course, David Caruso is famous for CSI Miami. And it's directed by Brad Anderson. And I believe he won one or two, I was looking on IMDb, independent film festival awards for this movie.
Oh.
This movie never got a ton of play. Again, it's just a low budget.
It's a hidden gem.
Hidden gem. Practically no special effects. It was all done with atmosphere and acting and
Storyline.
storyline. And just to give you a quick, I'll read a little synopsis here because this is going to play into it. So, tensions rise with an asbestos cleaning crew as they work in an abandoned mental hospital with a horrific past that seems to be coming back. And this movie is, it's hard to define a genre. It's kind of like haunted house, kind of possession, kind of thriller, kind of horror,
Suspense,
kind
and
of
also
suspense.
a
And
little bit of what the hell is going on. You know there's something going on, something's off, but you can't quite put your finger on it until until the third act. And then towards the end, you're still at the end. You're like, uh, what?
so even when we spoil this movie for you, you're going to be able to watch it and it still won't be spoiled because our synopsis won't do it justice because especially in the third act there's so much going on in this movie.
Yeah.
Lots of jumping back and forth, lots of cut scenes, lots of narration over scenes that it's explaining what's happening while other things are happening. The really cool thing about this movie is it takes place in a mental hospital, an abandoned mental hospital, Danvers State Mental Hospital. And the building itself, there's a lot of overhead shots of the building. The building itself is almost its own character in the movie.
And the whole entire land, it's like a mini town, really. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's I just before you listen to spoilers, if you want to go see the movie, see it before we spoil it for you, obviously. But I would highly recommend this.
Did we mention the name?
Of the movie?
Yeah.
Yes, multiple times. Session 9.
Session 9, 2001. So it's a little older.
It's a little hard to find. I just picked up this movie years ago just because of the DVD. If people still remember those. It had a cool cover. I read the synopsis on the back, and it quickly turned into one of my all-time favorite horror movies.
Well, right now you can rent it on Amazon Prime for $3.79.
Yeah.
You know, that's less than a cup of coffee.
You can rent it on YouTube, Apple TV, and Fandango, and it's all under $4.
Yeah.
And if you're looking for something creepy to watch at home, what I would say for this movie is put the phone down, get rid of all of your distractions, turn off the lights, and just invest yourself in this movie because you won't be sorry.
Yeah.
This movie does require you to pay attention to it. It does require an investment, and it pays off.
Yeah.
The ending of this movie, all I can say is it's a gut punch.
Yeah.
Without spoiling it. It is an absolute gut punch. And when I watched this movie for the first time, I had to watch it again immediately because I didn't believe what I saw the first time. And I was like, wow, holy shit, they went there. Like, they went there. Because they break one of the taboos in movies. And it's implied. It's the implication.
Oh, gotcha. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So.
Yes, that was.
I think before I actually start gushing over this movie too much, we are going to get into and warn you guys because coming up next is spoilers.
So, let's start off. This movie starts off opening up in two guys in a car just talking, and they seem
they're
like
in the Ford Econoline van, your classic white work van. Yep, and we're introduced to, and I'm sorry, but I'm gonna take over a lot on this because I love this movie so much.
This is his.
We are introduced to Gordon and Phil. Phil is played by David Caruso. Gordon is played by Peter Mullen.
Both very
while
well.
there are basically four main characters, these are your two kind of lead
Mm.
characters.
Hmm.
And they're sitting in their work van, and you can tell Gordon is tired. And this is a theme throughout the movie.
Hmm. Well,
Uh,
we soon find out why.
yeah, he and his wife had a baby,
Hmm.
and shout out to my daughter and my son-in-law because they just had a baby and they are tired. And if you've had babies, you're tired.
She's only 3 months old, and yeah,
And we find out that this baby is
has a
sick
has an ear infection,
and just
they
never stops
haven't been able
crying.
to sleep. Yes.
Yes.
So right off the bat, we know that there's just some tension there. But basically, these guys were waiting because they are about to get a tour of this abandoned hospital, and they're gonna put in a bid for cleaning asbestos.
Yeah. Yeah, they're an asbestos abatement crew.
Hmm.
And
They quickly they did describe the hospital, sorry, that it was built in 1871, and it was known as the Kirkbride.
yep.
Yeah.
And so they're going to go through this building to
Mhm.
look at it and bid on the job as a contractor would. And Phil kind of asks the security guard, "Hey, why does an abandoned mental hospital need security?" And he's like, "You're not trying to keep anybody in." And he says, "No, we're trying to keep people out. Like even some of the patients
Have
maybe
returned.
want to come back
Hmm.
because they don't know where else to go. There's graffiti artists, kids,
Right.
vandals,
So it
squatters.
was,
So they're trying to keep people out
and
of the
it was
hospital."
closed in 1985. I'm not really sure what year the movie takes place, but
The movie's current
correct.
day.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it closed in 1985. So you would think they didn't have any more patients trying to come in,
Yeah, but you never know.
but
Um,
they do have a lot of squatters and previous patients, I
yep.
guess.
And basically, they want to remove this asbestos because the town manager wants to reclaim the land
Hmm.
because it's on a lot of land.
It's huge.
And one of the little things that you need to pay attention to, is a lot of little stuff in this movie, is that the security guard tells Phil and Gordon that the lobotomy was
Mm.
perfected at Danvers.
Mm.
So that's something to kind of just keep in your pocket for later. He describes the place, talking about how it's like a giant bat and the wings are spreading out, and one wing is the women's ward, one wing is the men's ward, and the more dangerous patients were kept out towards the tip of the wing. And while he's describing this, we see, not for the last time, a shot of an old timey, spelled like Tyme,
Mm.
like timey,
Hmm.
EY, wheelchair in a hallway. And while we see this and the guard is describing the ward, we hear a voice, presumably in Gordon's head,
Hmm.
say, "Hello, Gordon."
Hmm.
And you're kind of like, "Hey,
Yeah.
what the fuck was that about?"
He's kind of in a
Even
small trance, looking at the end of the hallway. It's the old timey chair.
so they're bidding on this job, and they initially want to bid, and this is where we start seeing some of the dynamic between Gordon and Phil, because Phil's like, "This is at least a 3-week job
Hmm.
with our crew," and
Hmm.
Gordon's like, "2. We can
Hmm.
get it done in 2," and Phil's like, "What the hell?"
Hmm.
Well, we find out that Gordon is really pushing because Gordon really needs this job.
Hmm.
Like
Now
he,
they didn't really say if he needed the job because of finances.
yeah,
I
but it's the
kind of
implication.
I kind of assumed that maybe he needed this job to be out of the house.
Well, yeah, I could see that too, because again, there's a lot of tension at
Yeah.
home. So at some point now, the guard warns Phil and Gordon about kids,
Mm-hmm.
coming in and
Mm-hmm.
graffiti and stuff like that.
And they walk
Just to.
past one of the rooms.
Yep. They walk past one of the patients' rooms, and the wall is covered with peeling paint, but pictures.
Mm-hmm. All pictures and newspaper clips and
Mm-hmm.
posters, just kind of all random, but all on the wall. And they asked the security guard about it, and he says that it's called seclusion, and
It's some
yeah.
kind of therapy where they put up pictures of loved
Hmm.
ones and things like that. And it's
Mm-hmm.
supposed to help them through their specific traumas
Mm-hmm.
or issues. And Gordon seems very affected by this, by these
Yes.
pictures on the wall of this particular room. We
Mm-hmm.
don't know why, but he just kind of pauses and stares at it just a little too long.
Mm-hmm.
And Phil then has to go to the bathroom. So Gordon's alone with the security guard and says, "We can do it in a week. We can do it in a week. I really need this job." And now a 3-week job has now become 1 week,
1 week.
which
I
we'll find out later just adds to what is constant tension in this
yes.
movie.
And amongst all the whole crew.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So in celebration, because they get the bid,
Mm-hmm.
because if they didn't, we wouldn't have a movie.
Yes.
They get the bid, and Gordon buys some flowers and some Oreos, and
And
yep,
like wine or something.
yep. And Gordon is in his van across the street from his house, and he's looking at a picture of his baby who is crying in the picture. And the
He
dog,
seemed hesitant to go in.
yeah, the dog's barking, and he's kind of like, man, it's just, oh, it's so loud in there, and I just want peace and quiet. And he just takes a breath and he gets out. And
Then we
as we're watching Gordon cross the street and get into the house, we hear a scream, and it just
cuts. They do that a lot in this
Mhm.
movie, which I think it kind of jolts you.
It's the implication.
Well, there were a lot of like very sudden cuts, and in between the cuts, you were waiting for something to happen, and then it just cuts. You want to go in the middle here?
And
Come on.
this is used, I think, really well in the movie because we never really know what happened, and our minds start to wander of like, okay,
Like, okay, what
why,
just
what
happened?
was going on?
But now
really,
it's
dude, really?
if you are only listening to this, our dog Bear just got really close to Matt's.
He
Lips.
he just tried to look at my soul through my mouth.
Yes. So now we have Monday.
Title card.
Monday.
Monday.
Ba-bum.
Everybody hates Monday.
Mm-hmm. And we
Turns
have,
out though, Monday is the best day of the week for these guys.
yeah, that's true. And it's the starting of the week for the crew, and we're kind of introduced to each of the guys.
Yep, they're working, and we meet for the first time Hank.
Hank.
And one of the early facts we find out about Hank is dating Amy, who is Phil's ex.
Mm-hmm. So now
So
you
now
already
there's
know
more
there's some
tension.
tension. Yeah.
So
Yep.
now there's tension between Gordon and Phil about the bidding of the job, and now there's
Now we
tension
have-
between Phil and Hank
Mhm.
because of Amy.
Mm-hmm.
And
And so we also meet Jeff, and Jeff is Gordon's nephew.
Yep.
He's a kid. He's like maybe, I don't know, 19.
late teens, early 20s.
Yeah, yeah. And he's kind of a goof. Right away we see him trying to put like some loud music.
Well, and we do figure out that he's along to help get this job done in a week,
Yeah.
and he knows nothing about asbestos abatement.
No.
So-
but I guess he's a hard worker,
Yeah.
and he'll do whatever his uncle says.
Yep. So he cranks up the boom box in the one room as we would do in 2001, because that's how we rolled. We rolled with the boom box. And Hank comes in and scolds Jeff about, the music causing vibrations, and it can vibrate particles loose, and he's not wrong.
No.
That's very,
I
very
mean, I
true.
guess. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it is. And this is where this movie kind of dates itself, because he's like, put on some John Tesh or some Yanni. Now, if you know, you know. So this continues a trend where they are kind of like picking on Jeff a little bit and trying to scare him about stuff. And it's one of the things I like about this movie is the realistic relationship that these
Hmm.
coworkers have, because they're busting each other's asses,
Yeah, it
but they're
felt.
also talking behind each other's backs
Yeah,
for the
it
whole
felt. It
movie.
felt pretty genuine.
Yeah.
But now we cut to a scene. The guys are outside. They're kind of like, I don't know, taking a break
It's
or
break
whatever.
time.
Yeah. And they're kind of talking about like how or why the place closed down.
Well,
And
and they also say some of the pressure is if they get this job done in a week, they get a $10,000 bonus.
right, which wasn't clear if it was each or
Mm-hmm.
altogether. Wasn't very clear. But so one of the guys was saying, oh, they closed it down, or was it the security guard? Because
Mm-hmm.
that's what they did in the 80s. They, started closing down like all these mental
Due
institutions.
due to budget cuts.
Yeah, due to budget cuts. And they, one of the guys, we meet Mike. And Mike, we learn later that he is a law student dropout. He seems smart, and
His
he's
dad is the state attorney general.
that's right.
Mm-hmm.
And he starts saying that it was all because of a scandal with this girl who they were doing some sort of
It was a
memory
repressed memory
repressed
therapy.
memory therapy. And basically, it doesn't really pertain much to the story, but basically, it's a type of therapy that supposedly gives you back your memories from trauma and abuse that you might have forgotten. But the reality is that they were actually implanted. So, with
So
that,
yeah, the long and short is that this girl recalled memories of her father doing very inappropriate things to her, and then taking her out into the woods and
and
wearing a black robe
some
and
devil
rituals
worshiping,
and
which was
baby
very big in the
sacrifices.
80s.
Yep. Yep. And it basically played into the whole satanic panic of the 1980s. And long story short, because you're right, it doesn't pertain that much to driving the movie forward. They sued, won, and that was one of the reasons that the hospital was closed
Yeah,
down.
because they didn't have much money. Well, I'm sure they did, but anyway. So, moving on.
Well, and this whole time, Phil is trying to run Hank off this job, because Phil doesn't like Hank because Hank's dating Phil's ex-girlfriend. And so he's pushing Gordon to try and bring in this guy named Craig McManus,
Mm-hmm.
because he's like a pro asbestos guy, and he's like, this dude's going to come in and bust his ass, and he knows what he's doing, and we want to get this bonus. He's trying to like cover that in the guise of, hey, this guy's a better worker, but he really just wants Hank
Yeah,
off
yeah.
because he's banging his ex-girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
So we get to a point where Jeff now is running a tile machine. It's like this machine you ride, and it scrapes along and it pops the tile up off the floor, and it trips a breaker.
Mm-hmm. And so he's working alongside Mike, and
Mhm.
Mike has to go down.
Well, he asked Jeff to go down first, and Jeff says he has, I think it's called nyctophobia. He has a
Yeah.
fear of the dark.
Yeah.
So this will come into play later, that
Yeah.
Jeff has a fear of the dark.
Yeah. So then Mike goes down, and he's trying to find the breaker, but he gets distracted because he sees a bunch of boxes with evidence.
Yeah,
On
in a
it.
file room, filing
Mhm.
cabinets. And,
So, like he has nothing else to do. Let's go check out the evidence. And he kind of loses time, I guess, and
and in a cool little shot in this movie, he takes his utility knife, cuts open the evidence tape,
oh yeah.
and you hear like a pah, and at the same time, like some
scream.
particles fall down. You hear a scream, and some
Hank.
particles fall down in Hank's eye.
Yep.
And so, this is like a harbinger of something
Yeah, because there
bad.
was a big, like a scream that no one else hears, obviously.
Yeah.
So something happened, almost like he opened Pandora's box.
Yeah, that's a good analogy. Yeah,
Yeah.
he got into something he probably shouldn't be getting into right now.
Mm-hmm.
So now we start kind of unpacking what is driving along this story.
Well, what we do see Mike, he comes back after everybody is gone, and he finds this like listening device thing, like the old time.
It's an old reel to reel
Yeah,
machine.
for tapes.
And again, if you're old, you know what that means. They're the big round reels where you put one on one side of the machine, one on the other, and you run it through the whole thing, and you hit a big button, and it goes, and then it bzzz and spins,
And then you hear
here's
what
it,
was recorded.
because that's how we did things back in the day.
So he starts listening to these tapes, and they are labeled session 1 to
Session 1 through whatever.
And basically, we are introduced to a girl in the voice, two people. The what we assume is a psychiatrist, and what we assume is a girl in therapy.
A patient.
A patient.
Named Mary.
Mary Hobbs.
Yep.
I got it right.
Yep. Hobbs. Hobbs.
Yeah. I was
Yep.
saying Hobbes.
Like Calvin and Hobbes. Never read Calvin and Hobbes? Okay. Again, if you know, you know.
No. But this Mary has 3 altars, and this will play out throughout the movie.
Yep. So the doctor's talking to Mary, and it seems like he's always initially talking to Mary, but as soon as she gets really upset, then another personality manifests itself, and it's usually the personality we know as Billy.
Billy. And Billy is a protector.
Yes. And so we're introduced to the alternate personality, Billy. And this doctor really wants to know from Billy what happened on Christmas Day.
Mm-hmm.
What happened on the incident on Christmas Day? And now there's the implication that that's why Mary's where she's at, because something bad happened on Christmas Day.
Yep. Before we get to the next day, because this is still Monday, we see Gordon, and he's sitting outside of his house, like he was before, looking to his own house. But this time, he's just looking, and then something on his leg kind of makes him flinch, and so we figure he has some sort of injury.
Well, you see a bloody spot through his jeans. You do see a blood spot.
I didn't think it was blood. I thought it was just wet.
No,
But,
it was blood.
okay.
We are also introduced, though, in the session 1 to the princess, too.
Oh yeah.
Yep. So the princess is another personality of Mary Hobbs. We have Billy and we have Princess. Yep. And all throughout these sessions, the doctor really wants to speak to Simon.
Which is just the third
Yep. He's asking all these other personalities, like, can I speak to Simon? Can Simon tell me what's going on? And we don't hear from Simon.
Mary doesn't know what he's talking about, and then the princess doesn't know who Simon is, and Billy won't talk about Simon. So
now we go boom to Tuesday.
So now we have Hank, and
Well, no, wait. Before that, we have Gordon. Gordon's in the hospital already, or in the asylum already, and he's staring out the window. And we hear that voice again in Gordon's head, saying, "You can hear me."
yes.
And just a little bit in passing, Jeff walks past Mike, and Mike calls Jeff Princess.
That's true.
Yep. And Jeff's like, "Don't call me Princess," and Mike really kind of did it subconsciously, because he's like, did I call you Princess? You know? And he was just listening to these tapes the day before, and Princess was one of the personalities. So it's little subtle things like this in this movie. So now...
Yeah, so now we have Hank, who is just
doing
I don't
his
know,
thing.
doing his thing, and then all of a
He
sudden he,
he's marking insulation
yeah,
as either bad or good.
and he happens upon a quarter on the ground. So he picks it up and he realizes it's from 1883, and he takes a few steps and he sees another one, come almost like a trail leading.
Like, woo, piece of candy. Woo, piece of candy. Yeah, basically.
Yes. So it leads him to this kind of a room. I don't know what to call it, but
Well,
there was
he sees a bunch of other coins stuck
stuck
between the
between the
bricks.
bricks. Yes.
And he takes his knife and starts digging it out, and the dog's hacking up a lung over there. Our dog's got emphysema. He smokes like 2 packs a day. And so he's scraping the grout out from around these
The brick,
the
yes.
bricks,
And then
and he
finally
pulls a
takes the
couple of the
pull,
bricks
yeah,
out.
and
Yeah.
then bunch, and I mean like a ton of coins and other things spill out, and he's like jackpot.
Which again we find out a little later while we're spoiling stuff that Hank is like a gambler,
Mm-hmm.
and it's ironic that these coins pour out of this wall like they would in a slot machine.
Yeah.
Like when you hit a slot machine, that's how they pour out.
Yeah, yeah. That's
It's
true.
just it's the little things like that in this movie. So again, spoilers, but if you're viewing this for a second or third time and you know this about Hank already, you start to think, was this trying to draw him to this spot?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so he finds a ring, and then we have a shot through the brick, and we see an open
the other
area
side of
on
that,
the other
yeah.
side, and it looks like what is the inside of an oven on what is the crematorium of the mental hospital.
So he's like unpacking this from the outside of the oven of the other side of the room, which is the crematorium. Okay. So then we got Mike back on listening.
Yeah,
He's addicted.
We break for lunch.
Oh, right.
Yep,
So
yep.
Mike takes advantage of that, and everybody else is outside eating whatever. And Mike is just hooked on these tapes. So he's listening session 5, and I guess the doctor was had asked Billy, where does he live? And Billy says that he lives in the eyes because he sees everything. And the doctor asks, well, where does the princess live? And he says, the princess lives in the tongue because she's always talking. And this is important because we don't know where Simon lives. And that's what he asked him. But we cut out.
Yep, and so everybody's back for lunch now. Mike comes back for lunch. And and throughout all this, every once in a while, we just see shots of Gordon, like looking down, like down a little hill at a gazebo, and there's a path that leads through the gazebo, and we just see quick shots of this. But he's really kind of preoccupied with this.
Yeah, he seems a lot like he's lost in his own thoughts, I guess.
Yeah, and you kind of attribute it to he's just stressed out by the job. He's stressed
And
out
tired
at
at
home,
home.
and he's tired, and he's worn thin, and
Phil.
Peter Mullen, I think that's his name, the actor who plays him, just does a great job of making you feel like his tension, his exhaustion.
Absolutely.
Just his facial expressions, because like I said, this movie does not rely on effects at all. It relies on the actors conveying like every emotion on this. So they're at the break, and one of the guys found
Jeff.
like case logs and books, and they're talking about what people have been admitted for, and one of the things was mortified pride. And it was just a little bit of a comic relief because Jeff's a little bit of a knucklehead. They call him mullet head. And he's like, what do you have to do to get admitted these days? Mortify somebody's pride. And so they start talking about, like, well, what do you have to do to get admitted these days? And I think it's Hank says, yeah, kill someone. And Mike starts saying, well, that doesn't really work anymore, and because of this and because of that.
Now,
And
Mike is the smart guy.
yeah, you
so.
find out Mike's really kind of like got it together. He's
Mm-hmm.
really intelligent. He knows the law, and he basically now he's fucking around, and he grabs Jeff.
And they're just fooling around.
Yep.
However,
And he starts describing how patients were treated and about the lobotomies, and he starts describing a lobotomy
as he's holding Jeff
as he's holding Jeff.
in a chokehold, and then kind of like
It's kind of like a chopstick he has, something
Mm-hmm.
like, and he holds it right to Jeff's eye and explains that, boom, that's where you
kind of explains
that's where you put
slowly
the
how you do it.
where you put the spike or
and then
whatever.
what you do and what happens. So it's everybody else is kind of like watching and I don't know, kind of weird out. You know?
It's really initially you're like, why is he describing lobotomy? Like you think, well, he's just doing it to fuck with Jeff and to scare him a little bit, which they've been trying to do because he's the new guy. But it does come back, you know. And throughout all this, we see that Mike constantly starts trying to find excuses because he's obsessed now with listening to these tapes.
And as he is going back to the evidence room, he sees a bunch of cut up roses, like in the corner of a room, and what looks like maybe some paint. It wasn't very clear because it was a quick glance. But later you'll
Red
remember.
paint? It was red.
I know it was.
Yeah. And we know at one point Gordon got out of his vehicle to go home to Wendy, his wife, and his baby, and give her roses.
Had roses.
But the roses are there at the hospital. So you're kind of like, wonder what that's all about. You're starting to think a lot about this now. You're like, oh, I wonder what that's about. And I wonder what that's about. You know, Gordon constantly looking at the gazebo.
And that's what happens. There's a lot of little things that your brain kind of starts putting together, and eventually forms a theory of what's going on.
Yep. You're starting to think, okay, something's not quite right here. And whether it's the tension of the job or the tensions of Gordon at home.
Yeah.
And so Hank starts talking to Jeff Mullethead just about asbestos abatement, about how it's a very high-stress job, which it is. It's a very dangerous job. And how everybody needs an exit plan, and Mike's exit plan is to go back to law school, and Phil has an exit plan to blow off steam. Excuse me. But Gordon does not have an exit plan. Fiber is his life. And if he didn't get this job, he was going to go out of business. And it's just a really little scene, but it does show, again, how much stress Gordon is under because he doesn't have an alternative. Everybody else has a way that if they wanted to get out, they'd be out. But Gordon does not. Gordon's trapped. He's committed.
Well, we also see at some point Gordon is having a phoned conversation with his wife. We don't really hear the whole conversation. We kind of assume that it was an argument because he ends up with hello or something like that, so we assume that she hung up.
Yeah, he's just like, I just want to talk to you. Will you talk to me? And then nothing. And
then he sees,
when we say cell phone, we're not talking about an iPhone here. We're talking about the old ones that are about like that big, and it had the antenna you pull up. It was 2001's technology. Because I remember watching this movie pretty close to 2001, and I'm like, man, this dude's got a cell phone.
I was thinking, like, in that time, he had money, because who has cell phones in 2001? But anyway, at that time, once he hangs up with his wife, he sees Phil out by the generator, and he was just talking to these two guys.
These two Utes. And our cat is now possessed. He's talking to these two Utes, and Gordon is sus. Is that how you kids say it now? Gordon is sus. Gordon's suspicious of why is Phil out talking to these guys? He kind of shakes their hands and
To me, it kind of looked like a deal.
yeah, it looked like a drug deal. That's
Yeah.
kind of what you thought because they did make the comment to Jeff early on in the movie about no drugs on the job site.
Right, right.
So Phil is starting to become very suspicious of you can't see this, thank God it's off camera, but our dog is trying to have relations with our cat and the cat's too fat to do anything
Oh,
about
God.
it. So
Oh, God.
so anyway, we go to this is really distracting. So later that night we find out that Hank goes back to the hospital after everybody left and he's going back to get his treasure. And another thing that dates the movie, he's listening to his Walkman. And it's that big yellow Sony waterproof sport Walkman with the big yellow
That
headphones.
you know.
And I had a pair of those, and I think it was 1990. I think
my
I had a
God.
pair of those.
You know, this one was skipping as he was walking by.
And you got to remember too, though, one of the important things is Hank always has these headphones on, and he's usually listening to like jazz and stuff like that. But he's always got his headphones on, and he hears a noise while he's doing this, like a door closing or something banging, but he really doesn't think anything of it. And one of the things he finds in this treasure is your good old standard big long silver lobotomy pick. I don't know what they call it, but it's a lobotomy pick that you stick in the corner of somebody's eye and perform a lobotomy. And he starts walking out, and this is our first kind of really tense, kind of maybe horror themed scene of the movie.
Right, because he's walking down a corridor, and
With a flashlight, you know.
at the end of this long corridor, he sees a shadow
Yeah.
of a person.
And
He starts running, I believe.
Yes. He starts freaking out, and he's kind of going through, and you see the beam of the flashlight going back and forth, and he kind of turns a corner, and you see a close up of Hank's face, and he just like goes, and boom, we cut.
Yep, we cut a scene.
We cut.
Yeah.
So we figure something happened to Hank, but we have no idea what.
And then it's
It's Wednesday.
Wednesday.
It's hump day. Gordon. What
So-
day is it?
And all of a sudden, everybody's kind of like talking that they haven't heard from Hank.
Yeah,
no one has seen him.
They're up on the roof. Just on one of their breaks. These people, for a job they got to get done in a week, they sure take a lot of freaking breaks.
Yeah. And so Phil, obviously, he knows the girlfriend's phone number.
Yeah.
So they decide to call Amy, which is the girlfriend. And according to Amy, Hank took off because he hit a big or something.
Yep,
and
he hit
went
it big
to
and went to Miami
to the casinos.
to casino school. Casino school. Well, he was going to school to learn how to like work in a casino.
Oh, whatever.
And so all the guys were like, "Oh man, he must have hit it big on a
Yeah,
scratch
on a
off."
scratch off.
And
Yeah.
so now right away, this is Phil's in. He's like, he gives the phone to Gordon, goes, "Here you go, call Greg McManus. Call him. I told you this guy was unreliable." You know, he's really trying to drive this home the whole movie, that he just wants Hank out of the picture.
Yeah. Oh, we do see a scene where Gordon is looking at his nails. And his nails are dirty. And might I say bloody?
And Gordon does confront Phil on the rooftop about the two kids. And they get into almost a fight because Phil isn't fessing up about why he was talking to these kids, and he's like, "Are you questioning my work ethic?" And you can tell now, like the stress is just the
The
tension
tension between
is
them is
out
getting a little
between
bit. Yes.
Phil and Gordon.
Yeah. In the meantime, though, we have Mike, who is back listening to the tapes, and he also finds Mary's Hobbs file.
Yep.
That happens before we see
Mm-hmm.
the yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And in Mary's file, we
Well,
do see a stamp.
well, right before that, Gordon walks down through the path through the gazebo and sits on a log like a downed tree
Mm-hmm.
that's in the
Well,
cemetery.
we see that first, and then we see
Yes,
that.
that's in the cemetery.
Yeah.
So we know that Gordon is in the cemetery.
Right. And I
And that-
think he's
yep.
about to use his cell phone or something.
Yep.
But
Yep. And then we see Mike.
yes. So we see Mike, and he's taking a look at the file from Mary, and he has a stamp on the top of the file that says deceased, and then he has a number,
Not a
or
hashtag.
hashtag 444.
Yep. So Gordon's sitting on the log and he calls Wendy again
Mm-hmm.
and he's very upset. And at this point, you can tell he's leaving her a voicemail.
And he's saying something about like forgiving him.
Yep, he just wants to talk. He says, "Can you forgive me?" So we know Gordon did something now. At this point, but the camera like moves a little bit over, and we see a broken tomb. It's not even a tombstone; it's just a grave marker.
Yeah.
They're all the same.
They're
just
same.
marked, and we see 444. So we know he's sitting
Yeah.
right over Mary Hobbs's grave.
Yep.
Which was a cool little.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And again, we have Mike listening to the tapes again, and he's as he's looking at the file and the pictures. In one of the pictures, Mary shows like a weird scar right in the center. I wrote it down.
A whole bunch of scars.
Yeah, I wrote it down. I thought it was important.
Yeah, because the doctor, it is. Because the doctor is asking her, where did you get the scars on your chest?
Right,
and
right. Mm-hmm.
She says, well, I fell off my bike.
Mm-hmm.
And the doctor knows that that's not the case.
No, you don't get scarves like that.
And the more he presses Mary, the more upset she gets, and she morphs into Billy, who is the protector.
Yes.
So we know this now because every time Mary gets upset, Billy manifests
comes
himself to
Yeah.
protect her.
Yes, and so we cut to a scene where Gordon and Phil are kind of having a talk. What do you call that? Heart to heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're sitting in the decon thing where they like after they take a shower and they're gonna change
Right.
into their clean clothes. To go
I
home.
was thinking, are they like in some sort of sauna? I don't know.
No. It was
It's a-
it was basically a decon chamber they made with like little like wooden slats and plastic,
Okay.
which is where they would go and they would shower and then they go into there and that was like a clean room
Gotcha.
so that they didn't take any fiber home with them.
Yeah.
That's what that was.
And this is where Gordon confesses that he hit his wife.
Yep. So now we know
By
why he's
accident.
asking for forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because he went home with the flowers and stuff and tried to hug Wendy and she was holding the baby and they knocked a pot she knocked a
She
pot
was
of boiling
water.
water for
Mhm.
pasta and knocked it on his leg and he just kind of snapped and hit her.
Slapped her.
And he was like it was an accident, it was purely reactionary, we're all tense and he just
Right.
kind of snapped
And he also says that he's been sleeping in the motel, but later we actually soon after we realize no, he's actually sleeping in his van.
Mm-hmm. So he tells Phil to call Craig McManus.
Now that they can find Hank.
Yeah,
Yep.
and then Phil kind of confesses and says, well, hey, those two kids, they were the kids that were doing the graffiti, and I told them never to come around again or I'll call the cops. And I'm kind of thinking, why didn't he just tell them that on the rooftop?
I think it was more of
it was a
power.
macho thing.
Yeah,
it was like
yeah.
a power, because they are
Like
under a
why
little bit
you
of a
ask,
power
why are you
struggle.
questioning me,
Yeah.
kind of thing. Yeah. Yeah, because they're both like, I guess, they run the business together.
Yeah, Gordon's the owner of the business, but you can tell him and Phil are kind of
Yeah.
like 50-50 when
Yeah.
it comes to running the business.
Well, one thing that we do see or hear is again when we see Gordon sleeping in a van and we hear the voice again and it says, "Hello, Gordon."
Mm-hmm. And Gordon at this point rolls up his pant leg,
We
and we see
see.
the burn, and
Yeah.
it's all blistered and
Yeah, it's pretty
infected.
nasty.
And he pours, I'm assuming either what is alcohol or iodine or
Yeah, it
something
looks
on
like
it,
it had color, so
and he just screams because he's in pain. So now not only is the guy exhausted, he hit his wife,
he
he
hasn't been
can't
sleeping at
stay at
home.
home, and he's got an infected leg. So it's like, wow.
Yeah, this
Like
guy is
strike
going
one,
through.
strike two, foul ball,
This
foul
guy
ball,
is
foul ball.
going through it, definitely.
Yeah.
Yep, yep.
And we see a shot right after that of the hospital at night. And there's a lot of cool shots of the rooms going through this hospital. And we hear breathing and we hear somebody walking around in the hospital. And now it's.
Oh, don't we see the chair?
We see the wheelchair again.
Which is the
Yep.
what he saw at the very beginning. And then it's
Thursday.
Thursday. It's almost time for the weekend.
And
Wait, I don't have anything for Thursday.
yeah, because you were doing your hair. Yeah, I'm going to take over a lot at this point because she was doing her hair and she wasn't taking notes. But Phil and Gordon are sitting in the parking lot of the hospital, and Phil asks Gordon if he's okay. And Gordon, just with this pain look on his face, just says, I want to go home.
Yeah.
You know, and you really, really feel for Gordon at this point. So they're running their machine again to rip the tiles off the floor, and Mike pulls the plug on purpose to make it look like the breaker tripped because Mike just wants to go into the basement and listen to more tapes.
Sessions. He's so
Yep.
invested.
But at this point, Phil kind of throws a wrench in his plans, and it's like, I need to talk to you, Mike. And he's like, well, I really need to. And he's like,
nope.
just send the kid down there to do it. So Jeff goes into the basement, and in the meantime, now Phil just throws Gordon under the bus and tells Mike, like,
Right
hey,
after he told him
yeah,
that
hey,
he wasn't going to tell the
yeah,
other guys.
hey, Gordon's slipping. Like, Gordon
Hit his wife.
Yeah, did he tell you he hit his wife? And he's basically trying to undermine Gordon's authority now to the other guys in the crew. And we kind of are getting the sense now that Phil's a little bit of a scumbag. He's not that great of a dude. He just talks behind everybody's back.
I honestly think he's looking out for himself.
Well, yeah.
I mean, he seemed like he was concerned for Gordon, which could have been true.
He was. On one hand, he was concerned for Gordon, but on the other hand,
He wants that
he was
money.
throwing him under the bus.
Well, he
and
wants that money.
He wants his bonus, so
Yeah.
he's like, we maybe got to think of getting Gordon out of the
Out.
picture here because we need people that can get this job
Yeah, he's
done
a
so we can
liability,
get
which
our
is
bonus.
true.
Yes.
He's at this point, he's a liability.
Yep. And Gordon walks in on the middle of the conversation.
Well, he overhears that
Yeah.
because he was like on a different room up above, and somehow he was able to hear the
Yep.
conversation. So he kind of walks in on them.
Yep. And just the look on his face, you can tell he's like, y'all are plotting against me. You know.
And they pretend that they weren't talking about him and shit.
Yeah, it was pretty awkward, but
Yeah.
it was like a really good representation of shit, we just got caught talking about you, and you know, again, the acting in this movie is just.
It was good.
So Jeff is on his way back up from the basement now because he went down and reset everything, and we see Hank in the stairwell,
Right.
and all Hank says is, what are you doing here? What are you doing here?
And
that's the way he says it.
And he had, you can tell he had his headphones in and his sunglasses, and he's kind of staring out the window on between the landing strip between one floor and another. So then we see Jeff kind of like, hey man, like, where were you? Like, we were looking for you and this and that, and
all Hank
just
says is,
repeats
what
the
are you
same
doing
thing.
here?
So then, obviously, Jeff does what I would have also done. He goes out and tries to find someone else to let them know, hey, I found Hank.
Mm-hmm. And they don't believe. Well, they kind of are like, "What are you talking
Yeah,
about?"
like this
And
doesn't make any
yeah, and
sense.
Phil's like, "What do you mean? Hank went to Miami. He went to casino school. You heard Amy." And everybody is like, "Well, no." Well,
Mm,
Gordon says, "No, we didn't hear Amy. This is what you
you
told us
told
Amy
us.
said." And Gordon asked Hank for the phone.
Yeah,
Or Gordon asked Phil for the
for
phone.
Amy's
And he's
number.
like, I want to call Amy. I
Yeah.
want to. And now everybody is now suspicious of
Mm-hmm.
Phil because Phil won't give up the phone. And he's like, "What? Don't you trust me? You know, like never trust anybody that says trust me." That's a lesson for you kids out
But
there.
you say that all the time.
No, I say trust me. I'm a professional. There's a difference.
He is. He's a professional.
If I say trust me, I'm a professional, then it means I know what I'm doing.
Sure.
Yep. So they decide that they're going to split up and they're going to try and look for Hank.
I mean, they never watched
Yeah.
Scooby Doo.
Well, yeah. But in this case, it actually does make sense to split up because
Well, it is a big place.
nobody has any suspicions that there's anything going on at this point.
Yeah, but I would have just gone with Jeff back to where he said he saw.
Well, that's what they did. Phil started going. Phil and Jeff went
Mhm.
together, and then Mike and
Jeff.
yeah, Mike and Jeff went together, and Phil and Gordon. No, Phil and Gordon didn't go together. I'm getting my characters mixed up now.
Anyway, the
So
point is,
they split up, and so at this point, Mike then splits off.
split off.
Yeah, Mike splits off and goes, "Oh, I think I heard something downstairs," because Mike is obsessed.
Oh my God.
With
He
listening
cannot
to these tapes.
stay away from the
So
tapes.
he wants to go down and listen
Mhm.
to the tapes, and now he starts listening to the tape marked
Mhm.
Session 9,
Mm-hmm.
which is the title of the movie. Yeah, in case you didn't pick up on that.
Oh, I did.
So we hear Session 9, and the doctor is talking to Billy, and he's talking to Billy and the other personalities, saying, "You realize you're all in Mary."
Mm-hmm.
And so again, he's going through all this, and in the meantime, now this starts the part of the movie where we're just jumping all over the place now.
Yeah, it was really hard to keep up.
Because we hear the session tapes while we see the
see-
scenes of the guys looking for Hank.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, this was one of the coolest scenes of the movie. We see the shot of the generator
Mm-hmm.
running down,
Mm-hmm.
running out of gas.
Out of gas, yes.
And Jeff is...
Oh, poor Jeff.
Yeah, poor Jeff.
Remember, Jeff is the guy.
Jeff's the guy who has
has
nyctophobia, who has a fear of the
nyctophobia.
dark.
And
And-
he's down by himself
In a tunnel.
in a tunnel.
And we see the lights flicker, and he's like, oh
no.
shit.
Yeah.
And he starts running, and the lights just start going ching, ching,
Right
ching,
behind him.
right behind him
Just
as
turning
he's
to complete darkness.
as he's hauling ass through
Poor
this
kid,
tunnel. And you feel so bad for him because he gets kind of trapped in the dark, but sees like a beam of light coming down through a crack, and he's just like looking up at the light and breathing heavy, and
Like,
he-
he is going
he's
through it.
almost like
Yeah.
hyperventilating
Yeah,
at
he's
this
having
point.
a panic attack, yeah.
Yep. So while he's doing this, Phil finds Hank.
Mm-hmm.
And Hank's sitting in the corner in his underwear.
In his underwear.
Still got his sunglasses and his headphones
and the
on.
headphones, yep.
And again,
He says,
all he's doing is, "What are you doing here?" That's all Hank is saying at this point. So Phil radios into Gordon and says, I'm coming up.
mm-hmm.
So Mike restarts the generator, and at this point, now the reel-to-reel starts back up again, and Mike isn't in the room because he's outside starting the generator.
So he can hear. He, instead of pausing it or stopping the tape when it happened, he let it continue to play. So by the time he turned on the generator, the tape starts to play again.
And so now this tape, session 9,
We
now
hear
is
it.
narrating
Yeah.
over other scenes. And this is why we said it's hard to spoil this movie because it's hard to describe. Because now we hear Simon. The
third
the
alter.
personality that this doctor was trying to get through. And
The voice sounds exactly like the voice that
Gordon
has been hearing from the first day.
So we know now that Gordon has been hearing Simon's voice in his head.
Yep.
And which generally is not good.
No.
And we find out what happened that Christmas night in Lowell, Texas.
Yes. Which is something that sounds very familiar. Because the story goes that...
Well, Mary has a brother named Peter,
Peter.
or had a brother named Peter. And Peter scared Mary.
Startled her.
And Mary fell on her porcelain doll.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how Mary got the cuts on her chest.
Scars.
And at that point...
To protect her...
Yep, to protect her.
Her first alter, Billy, came out. Because that's the first... That's the protector. And Billy came to her aid, basically.
Well, we find out that Billy wasn't enough.
Nope.
And Simon pops his head up and makes Mary kill her brother and her entire family. And so now we found out that Mary has these 3 distinct personalities. Billy
the protector.
Yep.
The princess, who is a little girl.
The talker.
The talker.
And Simon, who apparently is a killer. So we find out now that as they're still walking around looking for Hank, because at this point only Phil has seen Hank, Gordon goes into one of the rooms and it's Mary Hobbs. It's labeled on the door, number 444.
Hashtag.
Yep, it's Mary Hobbs's room. And there's pictures of Gordon's family on the wall.
And the baby pictures.
And Gordon's looking at this like, how the hell...
Like, what the fuck?
Did these pictures get on the wall?
Yeah,
and
he's very confused.
It flashes back to a scene of Phil throwing Gordon his wallet because Gordon paid for lunch. So
I think
right
at
now,
that time,
Gordon's thinking Phil put all these pictures on the wall. So we're really suspicious of Phil at this point because Phil's now been trying to undermine pretty much everybody other than Jeff and Mike.
And then he comes into the room because he's going to tell him about Hank. And they have sort of a verbal altercation, I guess.
Yeah, they have a moment. They just look at each other.
And then?
And we flip back to poor Jeff, who finally got out of the dark. And he's in the van. And I said to her, here come the Oreos. Because one of the things that Gordon was going to take into his wife, along with the flowers, was Oreos. But I'm thinking, man, this kid's hot. He's sweaty. He's been sucking in dust. I'm like, man, why are you eating Oreos? It gotta make you thirsty. But while he's sitting there...
He sees someone coming towards him.
The camera shows something running towards him.
And he's like, man,
I'm sorry. You know, I just took some of your Oreos because I was trapped in the dark. And another quick cut, and it's the implication that something bad has happened to Jeff.
And it's Friday.
Thank God it's Friday.
It's Friday.
So, again... On multiple rewatches, the opening of Friday is the reel-to-reel with the film flapping. the tape flapping. So the tape has run out on session 9, and it's just spinning and flapping and and you're like, why hasn't anybody gone down there and shut that off? You know, again, that's something in future viewings where you're like, you know, you think if Mike was so obsessed, he would have went down there, he would have listened to it, shut it off when he was done.
Very good.
Yep.
Yes, but we
Yep.
do see when Freddie comes around, we see Gordon in his van
Down by the river.
And the walkie comes on and it says, "Come back."
Yep, he
We
says.
found the one.
Yep, the one who is
The
responsible.
one who is responsible. That was the voice that we have been hearing.
Well, no, that was Phil.
That was his voice?
That was Phil's
Okay.
voice. Yep. Yep.
So then Gordon goes inside.
And yep.
Oh, Craig shows up.
Well, Craig doesn't just show up. He fucking Tokyo drifts through the parking lot because Craig's
What the heck?
fucking awesome.
And fun fact about Craig, the actor who played Craig is the same actor, way younger. Same actor who played anything for Jackson?
No,
No?
Jacob's wife.
Jacob's wife.
Which
is a really
I didn't
awesome-
write
I-
down
I
his
like
name because he has such a small part in
Such
this
a small-
movie.
yeah.
But you've seen him in a million
Yes,
things.
you have. He's been a lot of like not extras, but like small parts. But in Jacob's wife, he was
Jacob.
Jacob's wife. No, Jacob's.
He was Jacob. He wasn't Jacob's wife. But as when Craig walks in, we see a shot of the side of Gordon's van, and we see a bloody handprint on the side of the van. So we know that there is
It's the implication.
nefarity. Something nefarious. Is nefarity a word? Nefarity afoot. And
So Craig shows up and he goes looking
yeah, he's
for the others.
He's looking for
inside.
Gordon, and Gordon's walking through the hospital just by himself because you're kind of like, where the hell is everybody else?
We
And
do see blood.
we see a big
Bunch of
blood stain on the
stain in
floor,
the
which
middle.
I think it's the gymnasium floor.
Yeah, it does look like the basketball court, but everything is kind of
Could have just been an
clear
intense
tarp.
game of 1-on-1.
No, everything has been clear tarped all around because of the renovations. But then we see Hank's body
Yep.
wrapped in the clear tarp.
Yeah, well, Hank's just laying on the floor,
Yeah.
and you assume he's dead.
And he's just covered up to here, really.
Yeah, and Gordon looks up and sees Phil, and Gordon's like, "Yo, Phil, what the hell happened
Yeah.
here?"
Yeah.
And Phil is kind of unsympathetic to Hank's possible death because he's like, "Well, he brought it on himself," and you know, at this point, it's kind of you're thinking, "Okay, well, Phil
Like,
killed
wha-
him. Phil
like, why did you do
something
that?
to Hank."
Yeah. But then Gordon, as he gets closer, Phil tells him, "You know what? Why don't you take a closer look at him?"
Yeah.
You know? And like, so that's what Gordon does. He kneels down, he goes to him, and he takes his glasses off.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what, like, what the fuck? Because he has the lobotomy,
The
stick,
pick,
the
whatever
pick.
you want to call it,
yeah, still stuck right here.
in his
right?
eye,
Right.
just buried balls deep into
Yeah.
his eye, and he's still alive.
And he's still alive because he kind of like turns to Gordon.
Mm-hmm.
Did he say something?
Well, no.
No.
There,
He
but
just
there,
looks
but
at
there's a couple times where now Phil is going, Gordon, I need you to wake
Wake
up.
up.
I need you to wake up and see. I need you to wake up.
Yeah.
And this is recurring now through like the last 10 minutes of this movie
Right.
is I need you to wake up. Mm-hmm. I need you to see things for what they are, basically.
And he actually at some point yells at him, and then Craig comes in, and
Well, he yells, I am awake.
yeah,
And at that moment, Craig walks in.
and he's like, "Yo, who are you talking to?"
Yeah, and you see now Phil's gone. Gordon's standing over Hank's body.
Like, what the
There's
fuck?
nobody else there. So we know, like, okay, Phil wasn't there.
Nope.
This
it's all
conversation
Gordon.
was all in Gordon's head.
And Gordon turns around, and attacks Craig.
Well,
Well, we think.
it is one
It's
of the
the
coolest
implication.
scenes. No, it's not an implication because what you see is he gets Craig in like
Oh, like a
a
chokehold.
chokehold,
Mm-hmm.
and he reaches down with the other hand and grabs the handle of the pick and
Oh, that's
pulls
right.
it out of
Out of
Hank's
Hank's, and Hank's
eye,
body
and
just like
Hank's head
kind of goes up along
rises
with it.
up as
Yeah.
he's pulling it here.
Uh-huh.
And when he gets
uh-huh.
it out, then Hank's head just goes back
Yeah,
down onto
back
the
down.
floor.
Yep.
It's such a cool
It
shot.
was. It really was. It really
Yeah.
was. Yeah.
Yep. And so Gordon now is kind of in a trance at this point.
Yeah.
And he kills Craig with the lobotomy needle, lobotomy pick, whatever the hell you want to call that. I probably should have figured that out before we did the podcast.
Oh,
And
I do have here that all throughout all of this, we hear the doctor talking to Simon.
yes.
Yeah.
And yeah, we get to the point now where as Craig is basically dying, we see flashes
Mm-hmm.
of what really happened
Mm-hmm.
minutes ago when we saw somebody running up to Jeff. And
Kind of like a flashback
Yep.
of all the
We
little
see
things
other
that we
things.
missed before.
and
Jeff is standing there again, talking about like, "Oh man, I'm so sorry."
yep, yep. And,
And he said he
we
called him
see now
uncle.
who it was. Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's Gordon basically with
running.
his eyes almost closed, running to him like in a trance.
Like
and,
he wasn't him.
Yep. And Gordon killed Jeff. And then we see that the giant blood spatter in the gymnasium was Gordon killed Mike.
Mike. Mhm.
And we see Mike's dead body.
Mhm.
So we're finally starting to realize that most of this stuff that happened was in Gordon's head.
All in Gordon's head, yeah.
And that while we were led to believe the whole time that it was Phil,
Mhm.
it was actually Gordon.
Mhm.
And Gordon, spoilers, kills his entire crew.
Right. So at this point we
Because
see him
you're assuming that he's kind of been in a trance or
This whole
taken
time,
over by
the entity of
what you think is Simon.
And now we see him in one of the isolation rooms, and he's looking
Ooh,
over all of the pictures.
This is rough.
He's looking over all of the pictures that now we know he himself had put up of his own family.
And never remembered.
And now I guess he does.
Yep.
And he's kind of looking over them, and he calls
And we're
his
still
wife.
hearing Phil's words
Mm-hmm.
in
Phil's?
in his head going, I need you to wake up. I need you to remember. I need you to see, stuff like that.
Well, he calls his wife on a broken phone. What we see now,
Well,
it's his broken phone.
That's a little later.
Okay.
Because while he's looking at the pictures, we get the gut punch and we hear what went on in the house.
We don't see it.
When Gordon went home initially after that first night.
Because we hear the wife, "Oh, you flowers."
She's like, "Gordon, yeah, you brought me flowers." And you hear like Gordon trying to hug her, and she's like, "Not now, Gordon." We hear the pot fall over, scald Gordon's leg, and we hear Simon's voice say, "Do it, Gordon.
Do it.
Do it. Do it." And
Do it.
Gordon, well, there's no other way to say it. He kills his wife. Then
And then we hear the
then
baby
you hear the
crying.
dog. The
Oh,
dog
yes.
yelps. So he killed the dog. And then we hear the baby crying, and we just hear a little bit of a squelching sound and silence.
So we
So-
don't see anything of that.
You don't see anything. All we see is the camera panning over the photos of his family, which is just like heart-wrenching because you know now that he was at some point under the control of whatever this
Right.
was, and he killed his
He
wife,
he
he
kind
killed
of
the dog, and he killed his newborn
and he
baby.
kind of understands now, or
Yeah.
I hope he's
Well,
understanding what's
well,
going
he
on.
does and he doesn't, because this is when he picks up the phone
Right.
and he's a sobbing mess and he's just saying, Wendy,
Trying
I
to
love you.
apologize.
I
Yeah.
want to come home. And we see a close up shot of the phone and the phone's broken. So he's not talking, but he thinks he is. And he's like, I want to hold you. I want to hold my baby. And so he doesn't. He does and he doesn't realize what's going on
Right.
because he's still trying to call her.
Yeah.
So he's still under
Under this.
the influence
Yeah.
of whatever it
Yeah.
is.
One of the good
And well,
endings there was that we hear the movie ending with the doctor asking Simon, because
while we're seeing an overhead shot of the mental
of the
hospital.
whole place, was we already know where the doctor already knows where Billy lives and where the princess lives, and now he's asking Simon, where do you live? And he says, I live in the weak and the wounded. And that was so profound.
Yep, and the
That
movie
was
ends on that.
Yeah. And that literally takes your breath out, like, oh shit.
So we know Gordon was weak and
Wounded. And
because
that's
he was
why,
so tired and stressed out,
yeah,
and
that's probably why
it enabled
you
him to
know,
be controlled,
right.
because it's a really cool take on the possession.
Yeah.
Because we kind of had a little bit of the discussion, was he possessed by Mary Hobbs, who in turn had these three personalities? All we ever heard was Simon in Gordon's head. So was he possessed just by Simon, who was not a real person? It was just a manifestation of Mary Hobbs's personalities.
Right.
So
Well,
even after you find out
people,
what happens, it still keeps you guessing.
there are people who believe that a person's when they have like this multiple personalities, or what it's actually called, dissociative identity disorder, is not really that. It's actually like a possession of, like, from a demon or demons,
Yeah.
whatever. So
But
there
this
is
movie
that.
never
Addresses
implies
anything about
that
demons.
there's
No.
anything demonic about this. And it really, really, until the last 10 minutes of the movie, really keeps you guessing.
Yeah.
Because they set it up that Gordon's just stressed out to begin with. So every weird behavior that Gordon exhibits, you could chalk it up to the dude's just stressed out.
Yeah, but
and
also
he's paranoid. He thinks everybody's talking about him.
from what I have seen of, and I've seen a lot of possession movies, and I'm sure you have too, obviously. We wouldn't be doing this, but one of the main criterias for someone to be more influenced, to be possessed, is their weakness and their how wounded they are.
Well, Gordon
Basically.
couldn't, from the moment, from even almost one of the opening scenes in the first 10 minutes of the movie, Gordon hears Simon's voice saying, "You can hear me."
Which also makes me wonder, like, okay, if he heard the voice before Mike opened the evidence box with all the tapes, would he still was Mike pushed to open that?
Yeah, I think everything, whether it was in the hospital itself or Simon or this entity or whatever, everything was pushing these guys towards their outcome. And the movie does such a it's a slow burn. It definitely is, but it's not a slow burn just for the sake of being a slow burn, because everything drives this movie forward to its conclusion.
Right. I think
And-
there's a lot of details throughout the slowness that it's really hard to not keep attention to that. However,
Yeah, because so
and
many of these little details actually pay off in
well,
the
and
end.
this will go into my score for the plot, but there are times that some details you think are important, but they're not.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, let's get to the score then.
Okay.
You go ahead first. Plot. Oh, we're sorry. We have three categories that we do for scoring. So we do this based on a 1 to 5 scale. One being
The
it
worst.
sucks and 5 being the best.
Mm-hmm.
And so the first category is the plot. So what do you give?
So the plot of this movie is pretty original because you can't pin this movie down.
Mm-hmm.
You can't say it's a haunted house movie. You can't say it's a possession movie, although ultimately I think in the end it's a possession movie. But there's also like who's driving the possession? Is it the building itself? Is it this entity? Whatever it is, I think they did a really good job with all the little nuances and details. So I'm, even though it wasn't a totally new concept, which what is anymore in a horror movie, I give the plot a 5 out of 5. 5 out of 5 Sony Walkmans.
Nice one.
Mm-hmm.
So the only issue I have with the plot is that there were some details that weren't really that important to the story. So it kind of throws you off a little bit. And
I think that was intentional, though.
and I do think so. I do think it might have been intentional. There are some things that I wrote down, and I was thinking that it would evolve into something, but it didn't. So, other than that, I thought it was, again, like you said, very original plot. Very different take on the possession, if it was indeed a possession, which at the end we both agreed that we think it is. Um, it was a very original. For that reason, I will give it 4 Oreos out of 5.
Good job.
The next category is the acting and the directing.
So there's actually some pretty, I wouldn't say heavy hitters, but some known actors for such a low budget movie. And with the lack of effects, they had to pull off everything with actual acting.
Yes.
And the actor who played Gordon, I said it before, did such a great job conveying his paranoia and
Yes.
his exhaustion
Oh my
and
God.
his mental
State.
deterioration.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where like David Caruso did such a great job of being an asshole, and
It throwing you off. And,
everybody
yeah.
played their stuff perfectly. I think I don't want to throw it in there with directing, but the score of this movie was very minimalist but very effective.
Very effective.
And the directing, like I said, I think everything that didn't have anything to do with anything in the end was, I thought it was intentional. It tried to throw you off, and for the most part it did, because it really sent you in one direction and then just totally whooped your ass at the
And
end.
I do love
the,
that.
the twist in this movie at the end, like M. Night Shyamalan's got nothing on this movie.
Nothing.
Like, such a twist.
Yeah.
It-
They should
it-
definitely study this kind of movie for film and for like
yeah,
directing.
on
and all
what
of
you
that.
can do with no budget, single
yeah,
single
basically.
location. So I'm giving it a 5 out of 5 Sony Walkmans.
Okay. I would have to agree. I think the directing was amazing. The way that this went was, again, original. And I think also the acting was so believable. You really felt it. I mean, from the big hitters to the lower characters, it was really good. And actually, many of these actors turn out to be, uh, they ended up in bigger roles
Hmm.
uh, after. I mean, this is 2001, so a lot of the times we see what actors are now and the little things that they have been before. But in this case, we can see where these actors have gone on to. So I think it was all around a perfect score. So I will give it a 5 out of 5 Oreos.
All right. So we get
The
to
last category
the thing this
is
this movie really has going for it, which is rewatchability.
rewatchability.
Now, I have seen this movie probably 10 to a dozen times, but I haven't seen it in years.
Okay.
And there's things in this movie that I noticed probably because I noticed them before, but I forgot about them.
Mm-hmm.
This movie is so good to rewatch because, especially once you know what's going on, you still really don't know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
You have your theories, but there's
The implications.
so many, yeah, there's so many little subtle hints and little tiny things that you see that you can pick up on a fourth, fifth, sixth rewatch
Mm-hmm.
that you were like, wow, I didn't notice that before. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's, wow, that means a lot,
Mm-hmm.
So we just watched this movie and then set up to do the podcast, and I could sit down and watch this movie again right after that, and I can watch this movie over and over and over and over again and not be bored. And the great thing about it is the ending, no matter how many times I see it, is still like a wow.
Yeah.
Like, they went there.
Yeah.
Like, and it
It's
was
the gut
and
and the
it
punch, like you said
and it
before.
yeah, and it wasn't extreme. It wasn't a visceral reaction.
No.
It was more of a gut reaction, like a
Mm-hmm.
psychological reaction, like, wow,
Yeah, this movie is very psychological.
this dude killed his baby.
Mm-hmm. It went there.
Like, yeah,
went there.
it went there, and it doesn't get any easier on rewatches.
And the fact that they didn't have to
They
show
didn't.
it.
They didn't show anything.
I
They
think
didn't.
it
They
just-
didn't show anybody getting killed.
No.
If you think about it,
No.
they didn't show anybody getting killed
No.
in this movie, which made it so much more effective.
Yeah.
Because I'm a big fan of leave it up to your imagination.
It's true. Mm-hmm.
So again, for rewatchability, I give it a 5 out of 5 Sony Walkmans.
Yeah. I agree. I don't give a lot of high scores on rewatchability on a lot of movies. If you have seen us for a few times, this is now going into our sixth,
6th or 7th review.
something
Yeah.
like that. It's something that I don't do a lot because I don't really care to watch something again that I've already watched. It has to be something that it really needs my attention, my focus, and this has it. This has it all. And for that reason, I will also give it a 5 out of 5 Oreo cookies. And so this brings our final score.
This is, you gave it a 14 out of 15,
I gave it a 14 out of 15 Oreo cookies.
and I gave this a perfect 15 out of 15.
15 out of 15.
This movie to me is
One of
it's
my
a
favorites.
it's a master class on what you can do with no budget. You could have made today. You could make this movie on an iPhone if you had 4 friends that were really good actors,
Mm-hmm.
and you could almost pull off the same
a good story.
the same effects.
I think it's a good story, but it's not just a good story flat. It's a story that has dimension.
Mhm.
So it has dimension
Layers,
to the past,
tons of layers.
Yes, like layers to the past, to the present, and to what everything how it ties up together.
Yeah.
It has good layers.
And our description doesn't do it justice because, like I said, the last 10 minutes of this movie, when it's revealing
Yeah.
what happened while you're hearing the narration
Mm-hmm.
of the doctor talking to all of Mary's personalities
especially Simon,
and
obviously.
hearing Phil's voice in Gordon's head, it's immaculate.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
again, it pulls off the effect with no effects.
Mhm.
That's the really great thing in this movie. You never
Mhm.
see anybody die.
Mhm.
You see them dead, you never see them die.
Mhm.
The gore is minimal. Like you see a big blood stain
Yeah.
on the gymnasium floor.
Yeah.
That's about it. And that's what makes it so scary is the
Mhm.
realism
Mhm.
of it. It's not over the top.
Mhm.
It's not trying too hard. Um, and again, I gotta say, if you're gonna watch this movie, really sit down and pay attention to it.
Or watch it a few times.
Yeah, yeah. This is not a movie that just throw on for
No.
background noise. This is a movie that requires your investment, and you won't be sorry that you invested.
It was
in
really hard to take notes because I didn't want to take notes. I just
we had
wanted to pay
we had to
attention.
pause it
Oh my
several
God.
times
Yeah.
because we didn't want to miss what we wanted
Yeah.
to talk about before we went to the next scene.
Yeah.
It's again it's heartbreaking for me that this movie's so obscure and underappreciated because it's such a good movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is yeah.
So if you watched it after we told you about it and because of our recommendation, definitely leave us a comment. Let us know what you thought about it. Did you like it? Did you hate it? How
It
you
will
would
definitely
score
be
it.
worth the tree fitty that you got to pay to
Yeah,
rent it.
it's really- it's
definitely
really
worth it.
With that said, I think it is time for
What time is it? Game time.
What time is it? Game time! Woo!
So we decided to, since this movie really has multiple genres yet no genre, we decided that we are just going to play some horror trivia. So if you are listening or watching, you can play along with us, see if you can beat our scores because we are the experts.
and today when we were shopping for Black Friday, we went and found this horror trivia game, and we're just gonna take a stab at it. And,
Get it?
so as you see, I'm just opening this up for the first time. We have not seen the questions.
Way to be prepared.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
We'll each take 5 cards,
Yeah. So.
and we'll
brand
we'll
new.
keep track of our scores here. I'm gonna need my glasses to see this.
Yeah. Take some cards. One. Oops. 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 Oops.
So
Okay. So we got 1, 2.
see if you can beat the scores of the professionals.
I wouldn't call myself a professional. Here, take some.
I would call myself a professional.
No.
I'm a professional horror movie guy.
I might need my glasses. I don't know where they are. Okay.
Yeah, because
well,
you lost them.
I have spares.
Okay, I got 5 cards.
All right. You want to go first?
Yep.
Or do I go? Okay, go ahead.
No, I will ask you first.
Okay.
Okay. So this is multiple questions of one movie.
Oh,
So,
so I have to guess the movie.
no. I'm going to tell you the movie. You have to guess trivia about the movie. Okay? You'll get it, okay? In the original Final Destination, high school student Alex has a premonition that what will explode?
Airplane.
Very good. Okay. So I'm just going to answer the first questions or ask the first questions about these movies.
Okay. Is it my turn now?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So you mark down a 1 for you because you got one right.
Oh, wait, look at. We got a little score thingy. Okay.
Oh, jeebus.
Okay, so VNM. 1. I got a 1. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So. Oh, do I give you a category?
No, I think you just, does it have the name of a movie on the top?
No, it has it as an answer. Okay.
Okay, so I have to guess the movie.
Yes.
Okay.
This is a guess the movie.
Okay.
And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm just gonna give you one of those.
Mhm.
Okay.
Well, if I don't get it, you have to give me all the clues.
It's just one per.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. What John Carpenter film stars a 1958 Plymouth Fury?
Oh, Christine.
I give you the easy one.
Okay, so I got one.
Okay.
All right. Okay, well then I'm gonna start trying to make it harder here.
I made it easier for you.
See, the farther down the farther down the card you go, the harder it gets. So I will give you. Okay, I'll give you a level 2 question because the level 1 is easy. Okay, the movie Insidious, which is a really fun movie. What is the name of the realm where Josh must travel to save his son Dalton?
It's the Beyond.
No, close.
Um.
Strike one. Come on, you at home know this.
Oh my God, I know this. The Down Under.
No, that's Men at Work.
Okay, so what is it?
You officially give up? The Further.
Ah, the Further.
I come from a land down under.
Okay. Okay, so this is about a movie.
Okay. Really?
All of these no, before it was different movies.
Okay.
So all of these questions are about the movie Scream.
Okay. Oh, God.
Which
I did see, but it's been a hot minute.
What does Sydney say after she shoots Billy Loomis in the head?
Hey, man, nice shot.
Good try. Not in my movie.
Oh, God.
If you're a fan of Scream, I guess.
Yeah, I saw that movie like once when it came out. Not a huge fan of the Scream movies. Okay. So here we go. Night of the Living Dead. Okay. Who directed the 1968 film Night of the Living Dead? Huge horror movie director. People at home are screaming
Yeah,
at you
I
right
know,
now.
I know. Oh my God. I am so bad.
Tisk, tisk, tisk.
I know.
And I called
know.
you an expert.
I know. George Romero?
Yes! Good
I
job.
got it.
Good job.
Okay.
You saved it there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, this is not about a movie. This is about real life ghosts.
Okay.
Huh. Okay. What legendary haunting ended with the poisoning of Tennessee farmer John Bell? What legendary haunting ended with the poisoning?
The Bell Witch.
Yes, the Bell Witch haunting. Good job.
Okay. So this is 90s horror. Oh God, that one's too easy. I may give you that one though.
Samson, just wait a second, Samson.
Okay. This one is so easy.
Samson.
We'll do easy ones and we'll graduate to harder ones later. What movie sees film students Heather, Josh, and Mike head to Burkittsville to create a documentary?
The Blair Witch Project?
Yep. If we end up tie, we're going to have to do like sudden death tiebreaker.
Okay.
Sudden death.
So this is Cold-Blooded.
Okay.
Okay. Whew. Okay, I think you'll get this. What box office bomb sees alien slugs infest the small town of Weasley, South Carolina?
Slither.
Yes!
And you know what? That should not be a box office bomb because that is
No.
such a fun movie.
It was.
Not
It was
a great
good
movie, but
fun. It was fun.
it doesn't take itself too seriously, which is the
We
whole
love
point.
that.
The whole
We-
point of that movie.
We kind of love that, yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
let's see. This is classic horror actors.
Ooh, I'm not good at that.
Do.
I'm so bad at names.
Yeah, let's see. Okay.
You want another card?
No.
Oh.
What Hollywood legend was buried dressed as Count Dracula? Classic horror movies.
Am I looking for a name?
Think like the Universal horror movie.
Yeah, like
Monsters,
Dracula, yeah,
the Wolfman,
yeah.
Frankenstein.
I don't know names of actors like that.
Well, they're all.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's Bela Lugosi.
Yeah. I'm so bad at names. That wasn't fair.
All right, so if I get this one, is this your last one?
No, I have more and more here.
No, I only gave you 5.
You didn't give me anything.
No, I asked you 5.
Okay. Okay. This is about John Carpenter.
Ooh, okay. Love John
Yeah.
Carpenter.
Yeah.
Well, some of his stuff. Some of his stuff is Okay.
All of these are super easy. Who plays vampire hunter Jack Crow in the John Carpenter film Vampires?
James Wood.
All the other ones were just as easy.
Okay, so we have a 3-3 tie. So do we
No.
want to go to sudden death?
No. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. This is our 5th question.
Oh, I only got 3. I only got 3-3.
Oh, we got 0, 0, and then we got 1, 2, 3, and then you got 1, 2, 3, 4. You gotta ask me the 5th question. You didn't ask me 5 questions. I asked you. I thought.
No, I asked you 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got 3 out of 5.
Oh.
And I got 3 out of 5.
Oops.
So we go to sudden death.
Okay.
Next person to answer one wrong is done.
Okay.
Okay. Ah! 30s horror.
30s?
It's the card I picked. Okay. Let's see. I'll try and find one that. Okay. This is the easiest one of this category. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
What causes Dr. Jekyll to turn into Mr. Hyde in the 1931 film Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde?
Wasn't it a poison?
Close enough. He drinks a potion.
Yay!
I'll give you that
That's what I meant.
one. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. This is about Ouija.
Oh, jeez. Okay. The film
Ah.
series?
It
Or
says
just
Ouija.
Ouija boards? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I got you.
In Ouija, Origin of Evil, what does Lena do to her sister to stop the spirit from speaking?
Cuts out her tongue. I don't know.
Close enough. Sews her mouth shut. We saw that movie
No,
quite a
that's
few times.
2 different things.
We saw that movie quite a
Yeah,
few
so I
times.
don't get that. So you win. I'll give you that one. You had to ask me one of those horrible movies.
It was the card I picked.
I know.
But we see that movie several times.
I know, which shows you how much attention I paid to it.
It's such a good movie. The Origin of Evil, whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was good. Anyway, so that's all we had for you tonight. I hope you had fun with us, and if you didn't, tell us how to do better.
Well, and this is just a free form thing. This is just us hanging out with our friends watching horror movies. So if you have a movie like Session 9,
Mm-hmm.
that obscure horror movie that you just love, that you think nobody else knows about, we've probably heard about it
Mm-hmm.
between the two of us. But throw it in the comments.
Yeah.
And we'll review it for you.
And we'll give you a shout out.
Yep, we've done that already. So we've gotten one suggestion so far in our early stages, and we reviewed it.
Mm-hmm.
So we will review. We're always looking for stuff that maybe we overlooked or didn't see or need to look at again through fresh eyes. And so,
And hey, if you watched us or listened to us in one of the whatever way that you listen to podcasts, please make sure to leave us a review, 5-star, whatever you want. Just
no, not whatever you want. 5 stars.
5 stars. We are
Because I'm a 5-star man.
we are 5-star people. Anyway, so we hope to see you again soon, and we love you. Thank you for watching, listening to us, and share
And
our content.
Go see this movie.
Yes.
I'm going to beat it into your heads. Go see this movie. It is worth your time. And we are out.
What are you doing here?
I forgot how good that movie is.
Yeah, that was a good movie.